welcome to the Nordic Stitches podcast. I am Lilli and I am coming to you from central Norway. You can find me on Instagram and on Ravelry as Nordic Stitches. If you want to stay tuned on what's going on around Nordic Stitches, updates and such, you might want to go over to Instagram and follow me there and set your notifications. Also, if you want to stay on top of episodes here on YouTube, you want to push the subscribe button and the bell icon next to it and choose to get notifications. I do post over on Instagram as well when I upload videos, so you know, you don't need notifications from both, just choose the one that you're the most comfortable with. Everything I talk about in this video, including the places where you can find and follow me, are linked down below the video in the description box. Today I'm mostly going to talk about drop spinning and incoming. In my previous episode I said that I was on a yarn shop stop and I wasn't gonna buy anything else, and yeah, because I'm moving later this year. This episode, that might not seem true, but it is. I did win some of this and I forgot to show some last time, and I've been gifted some very awesome things that I want to show you. Let's talk a little bit about my summer shorties club. There's only one pattern left, and on the screen right now while I'm talking to you, you will probably see pictures of the three first main pairs. There's also one extra pair in there because I felt generous. So basically the club is 5 shorties socks and for the price for 3. But last episode I wrote a code on the screen, and I'm gonna do it again. This is still valid out the 10th, I believe. Anyway, it's gonna be on the screen. I don't have the date in my head at this moment because I'm still a little tired. It's early in the day. But this club is valid for any single pattern club and set. So if you want the shortest club, don't wait, because this coupon code right here gives you 50% off. So not only is it cheap to begin with, but it's even cheaper now. So you might want to go and grab it now. And to every single one of you who has already supported Nordic Stitches by purchasing patterns through these last weeks since I uploaded an episode last, thank you so much. It's been absolutely wonderful. And to everyone who is knitting up the socks and posting in the finished objects thread and chatter thread over on Ravelry in the Nordic Stitches group, oh goodness me, I am so in awe over all the colors you're choosing. I just want to make all the pairs in all the yarns you've chosen, and I realize I don't have the time for that, but in the meanwhile I'm just gonna sit here and drool over your pictures. There will be a prize for, I'm gonna try and remember to include a picture of that on the screen somewhere here, a prize for the FO thread, but I will also be drawing a prize from the chatter thread. If you have not yet posted in the finished objects thread, please start doing so. Read the guidelines, they're very simple, and start posting in the FO thread. The knit along will go out July, but if anyone feels that they might need an extra 4 weeks, I can extend it out August. Just make sure that you let me know. I want to address, it isn't an issue, but it was an issue for a couple of you. The sound in the previous episode. I have, based on those two feedbacks, gotten in contact with a handful of people and have them watch the episode, and I personally have to turn down the volume when I see it, and none other that I've spoken to had issues with it. I do know that when you do watch a YouTube video on the TV, a smart TV, or on a PC, you can adjust the sound on both the equipment you use to watch the video, but also in the actual YouTube video window. That is not an option if you watch your video on any kind of tablet like a cell phone or iPad-ish. So I'm sorry that a couple of you had issues with that, and I'm hoping that this time it will be a little better, because today there's no wind. There will, however, be quite a bit of bird chatter. Anyway, I am so sorry that a few of you had issues. I hope it will be better. Thank you so much for getting back to me, and yeah, let's hope it only goes up from here. I will invest in better equipment one day, but right now I'm not investing in anything. I'm saving up to move. The next move is going to be a big one, so I need all the bucks I can get. Okay, before I go into knits in progress and stuff like that, I want to talk about what I'm wearing. I'm wearing my 2-color Nancy kofta. A kofta is a Norwegian term for a stranded, knitted sweater, jacket, cardigan-ish. And this is such a one. I had one before. It's very it's covered in cat hair now, because, you know, I have a cat. But the last one I knit in superwash yarns. Not gonna happen again. It got saggy, it got way out of control when it came to sizing. I knitted in my size, it ended up being at least a size too big. And this one I've knit in Rauma Fin Ull, which is a Norwegian yarn, and I love it. It's based for, it's made for 3 colors, but yeah, I didn't want that. And I wanted something a little retro and toned, so I went for a brown and a pink. I wish, now that it's done, that I had knit the brown in a darker brown, but it has not been washed, it has not been blocked, but I think it looks good anyway. I did not steek this one. Ellie from the Skinderness, I actually messaged her just to make sure, and she said, yeah, go for it. I did not go to any kind of steeking measurements. I picked up and knit the button bands, then I just went for the cutting, and I sewed on the button bands over the, I don't know the English term for this, the cut edges, raw edges, I guess. And yeah, I love it. I didn't kind of eyelet thingy, it's not important. I love it. The details are over on the Ravelry project page. Okay, so that was what I was wearing. Now to what I am knitting on. Knits in progress. So open the zipper. I am knitting Scandir Knits Vinterfjell Yoke. If you have watched her podcast and follow her over on Instagram, you will have seen that this changed its name from Blåfjell to Vinterfjell due to some, well, it's not even legal issues, but let's just say that some big companies made it such. And I personally think that for indie designers, when bigger companies go ahead and go to the level and make themselves so small that they have to attack indie designers based on something that's not even really an issue, no, it's just not okay. So I was supposed to wait to cast this on, but, you know, in the spirit of supporting Ellie, I cast it on. So I am knitting this one in Rauma Lammeull, and it is just the softest. I cannot wait to wear this. I do know already that I do not need anything else but a tank top underneath this, because, oh, it's so beautiful. This is the floats on the inside. And I can insert a picture of what it looked like before I got to this stage. Because I was knitting on this late one evening. I had gotten to about around 3, right here, actually, where I am right now. I'd gotten there, and I went to bed that night thinking that I was going to have to get up in the morning and frog it back at least 4 rounds, so more than 1,300 stitches. I didn't really have to do that, yet I did. I woke up, I took the needle out, took the picture, posted it on Instagram with the story, and picked the stitches back up and started knitting again, only to realize that I hadn't done anything wrong in the first place. So this has been on a back burner since. But the next coming week I will be focusing a lot on finishing a drop spinning project and a couple of designs that I'm releasing July 1st. More on that later. So if I'm coming back to you with an episode next week, it's probably not going to be as knit heavy as or yarn incoming heavy as this one. Finished knits are the washcloth I talked about in the first episode. I now have 1 seed stitch, 1 double seed stitch, and 1 triple seed stitch washcloth. I have not yet made a project page on these on Ravelry, but I will. All 3 in one project page, because, you know, they're just washcloths. I've knit them in a cotton acrylic yarn blend from a Swedish company called Svarta Fåret. And I love this blend. I'm not an acrylic fan at all. Plastic is not fantastic. And acrylic is a type of plastic, so... but just, you know, this yarn, it's absolutely amazing. I'm gonna put these in my bathroom after I've recorded this, because they are made for the shower. Put it under there. I've also finished Cup Cozy in the self-striping rainbow yarn from Giddy Knits and Giddy Yarns. Helen of Giddy Yarns and Giddy Knits podcast dyes the most amazing stripy yarns. You will have heard me almost preach about her yarn in the previous episode, because I love it so much. It's a little foggy in here now because it's hot coffee in there, which reminds me that I need to actually drink it before it goes cold, because it's only 12 degrees Celsius outside today, which is why I'm wearing wool. Almost straight to the skin. This is just, you know, a tank top, so it doesn't scratch. And I have sensitive skin. Anyway, love this. I just knit a tube, a couple of rounds of 1x1 rib. I just knit a couple of repeats of the rainbow stripes, and I knit a couple more rounds of 1x1 rib, and I just bound off, put it on there, and ta-da. I'm gonna show you what it actually looks like without this, so you can see why I needed it, because it wasn't pretty. Just gotta close that so I don't burn myself. So it has this, you know, screw-on bottom, and this comes off, so you can put something on here. It came with a cardboard kind of thing, and, you know, this is what it looks like. So this is the tube. It's not decreased or anything, it's just stretched for being... okay. It's just stretched from having been on there for a little bit of a week. And then I just, you know, assembled it again. Very, very cool. I might, you know, try and do something with a little sparkle yarn for Christmas, and I'm not going to make it happen in next year. I'm going to try and do it this year, because last year I talked about wanting to do this, and I did it this year. It took 2 hours. Morale here, just go ahead and do it. Don't wait a year. It took 2 hours. That's nothing. Okay, so, let's move into my handspun segment. This is probably going to be a very regular segment, because, especially now this year, because being on a yarn shop stop and having fiber makes the yarn shop stop a lot easier, because I can make my own yarn. And in the last episode I teased you about having started and managed to pull off my first 3-ply fingering weight. I spin only on a drop spindle because I do not have a spinning wheel. Maybe that will happen next year, who knows. But at least I have finished my first 100 grams of 3-ply fingering weight drop spun yarn. Oh, it is just the softest. It is non-superwash, which is very important. A Norwegian dyer and spinner, Tante Ull. She also has a Norwegian podcast. dyes fiber to spin from, and this is 50% merino and 50% tussa silk, 100 grams. And this is the colorway Antique Rose, and I just love it so much. My next spinning project is not going to be a 3-ply, but it's going to be a 2-ply, and I'm just going to show you that as well. I'm just going to, you know, brief about this a little bit more. Brag alert. Oh, absolutely amazing. And I set the twist in this, so it's ready to go. I can actually start using it. My next spinning project is a spin in progress. I'm spinning it on my Spin City UK drop spindle. I love Louise's stuff. Absolutely love it. This fiber I was gifted from a viewer last year. Need a cheat sheet because it's been a while. Lorraine from the UK sent me Captain Poldarl's from John Arbon Textiles. I wrote to, I got a message from someone asking me if I had tried fiber from John Arbon, and I had said no, which was true because I didn't start this project until the day after, and I didn't remember that it was from this vendor. So it is 100 grams, and it is a Polwarth sheep breed blend with merino, and it has a very rustic feel to it, which I love. And I'm thinking that I can start knitting gloves with this, maybe with a white or neutral tone in the base and the pattern in this color. I love it. So that's fun. And I was talking to Amelia on the phone last night. Amelia hosts the Arctic Knitting podcast and has the Arctic Yarns. I was talking to her on the phone last night for about an hour and a half. We do that a lot. And and I was, you know, timing the conversation just to know how much I can spin in an hour and a half, and I spun just about somewhere between 35 and 50 grams in an hour and a half, and I'm planning to join in on the Tour de Fleece this year. Not for competition, just for fun. And if any of you who watches this is interested, let me know, because, you know, opening a thread in Ravelry, you know, just to chat about that and show off what we spin could be fun. Anyway, I am joining in this year just for, as I said, fun with my drop spinning, and I am hoping to get in at least 300 grams now that I know that I can get in about I can spin for up to 2 hours a day without it actually afflicting anything, because I do work from home, so I have less, you know, travel time to and from stuff, and I'm thinking 300 grams can be possible. Let's see. Anyway, I'm putting aside fiber for that, and you will see more on that in July. I have some yarn over on Ravelry Stash. I had someone message me on Instagram asking me where do I find this D-stash. I'm looking, I can't find it. Ravelry is sort of a labyrinth, and is that the word? Labyrinth. Maze. It's a maze, and I'm just going to do you the favor and link directly to the D-stash page. My goodness, it's difficult talking today. Right down in the description box below, so if you see something, just make sure that you grab it, because I am de-stashing to make the next move easier. It's all very cryptical, but yeah, the less I have to bring with me, the better it is. Just gonna put that out there. And to those of you who have already supported me through the D-stash over on Ravelry, thank you so much. I know that some of you have already received the yarn and some extra goodies that I may have put in there, so thank you so much. I have a question from the questions for the podcast thread over in the Ravelry Group. Elizabeth Joan asks, and I'm gonna do the proper thing and read directly from this printed sheet of mine. I have just discovered your podcast channel and was wondering if you were born and raised in Norway. I am making assumptions here. How did you come to have such perfect and unaccented English? I think that's the word. First of all, thank you. I don't think I agree. I don't think I have a perfect unaccented English, but thank you so much for saying so anyway. In Norway, when I was a wee little girl, I'm 32 now, and when I was in school, we started learning English in 3rd grade. They actually start in 1st grade now learning English. At the same time as the children learn writing in Norwegian and developing the Norwegian language. So there's quite a bit of debate about that. But anyway, I started learning English in 3rd grade. And when I got to the point of, I think it was 6th or 7th grade, maybe it was 5th or 6th grade, I don't know, but Hanson, which still to this day is one of my favorite bands, they released their single Mbop. And from that point, I fell in love with American movies, American TV shows, and American language. Especially the southern dialects. I just think they are absolutely amazing, and I think from that point on I started developing or started adapting the sound, I guess, because I could talk English in my dialect, which is very common for a lot of people in several countries. So if I were to talk English in my dialect sound, Norwegian dialect sound, it would sound something like this, and I wouldn't be very comfortable. I just didn't like the sound of this. So I actually just practiced how the English sounded compared to my own dialect, and I just transitioned into that. So I did that on my own from a very early stage. That's the story on that. Thank you for asking. If you have any questions regarding me, not too personal of course, crafting or life-wise, make sure that you go over to the Ravelry Group and ask them there. If there is a question I feel I can answer here, I will do so, like I did now with Elizabeth Jones' question. Over to incoming. I bought from Maria over on Stitch in Sweden podcast this drop spindle. It looks so cool. It sucks. I tried it, and I will insert a video over here while I'm talking. I tried it for 1/3 of the antique rose 3-ply that I spun, and I was at one point sure that it wasn't going to be 100 grams, because I did try this for the last part, and oh my goodness, there is no grip to this at all, because it's some sort of metal, and the yarn that I spun kept sliding, and it was really, really awful. You can't take off these shiny bits and put on others, but yeah, I'm not even sure I'm going to keep this just for decoration parts, because it reminds me of the knot that I had in in the handspun. It was not fun. It looks amazing, it looks very cool, but it sucks. I'm gonna do the incoming parts at the end, so if you don't want to hear me talk about shop news, go straight down to the description box and just locate the timestamps. But I do want to talk a little bit about shop news, both on Ravelry and on Etsy. So, July 1st, I'm releasing 2 new patterns, one sock pattern and one triangular shawl pattern. The triangular shawl, I will get back to the details on that when it comes to the release date, but this shawl is a very, very special design, both in the way that I designed it and the meaning of it. I never got to meet my mother's mother, my granny. She was a knitter. She passed on her knitting skills to my mother and my aunts, and my mother then of course passed it on to me. So there's a little bit of my grandmother in every stitch of this design. And she died from colon cancer before I was born, and I want to make, from the date I'm releasing this pattern out 2018, 50% of the proceeds will go to cancer research here in Norway, in the name of my grandmother, in the memory of her. The shawl is called Grandma's Geraniums, because I asked my mother what my granny's favorite flowers were. I have a natural interest for flowers because I was a flower apprentice for about a year before I got too sick to be, continue working, which I talked a little bit about in the previous episode. So I have a natural interest for flowers and stuff. So I asked my mother what my granny's favorite flower was, and she said she needed to talk to my grandpa, who's still alive, and they came to the conclusion that it had to be several, but they landed on geraniums. So the shawl is called Granny's Geraniums, and I started thinking about this design in 2014. 2014 was the year I asked my mom this question, and last summer, I was flipping through Molly, who has the Homespun House Yarn and podcast. I was flipping through her yarns over on her website, and by pure sheer luck, I came across the colorway Grandma Sue's Geraniums. I could not get a hank. I messaged Molly, and I told her the story, and she was kind enough to include an extra hank. So the first version, I'm knitting currently up the second version in other colors, but the first version, because of Molly's generous gift, is knit up completely in Grandma Sue's Geraniums, and it's just, yeah, it's awesome. I cannot wait to show you. I posted a teaser picture of on it over on Instagram, so if you wanna, look at the teaser, you can go there. But I do hope that when I release this triangular shawl that's knit in sections, not the regular side to side, bottom up or top down way, that you will grab a copy and spread the word, help me spread the word, so that we together can raise a whole lot of money for cancer research. Okay, so about Ravelry. First of all, everybody who orders Progress Keepers from my Etsy, I did say Ravelry, didn't I? On my Etsy shop, gets a discount code for my Ravelry store when they receive their order. I posted a poll on my Instagram stories, asking if anybody wanted Christmas Progress Keepers for Christmas in July, and a lot of you said yes. So I'm going to update the shop Monday 11th of June, with a limited amount of Christmas Progress Keepers, and if you want them, grab them now, because I only have one shipping day a week, which is Wednesdays mornings for me, Oslo time. If you want to know what that is in your time, go to timeanddate.com and press in Oslo and, time and do the math. But there will be a limited amount of Christmas Progress Keepers in there, so make sure that you grab them if you want them. I don't know if I will be able or have the possibility and time to update the Etsy shop with Progress Keepers again before Christmas. Just putting it out there. I hope to. I just don't know. Okay, let's talk about the incoming section, which is ridiculous. Anyway, I already mentioned the crappy drop spindle. I would not recommend this for anybody, unless for decoration. I forgot to mention last time, Amelia gifted me some fiber from her trip over on to EYF. And in that basket of goodies was this yarn. This purple one is Dotted Dyeworks hand-dyed yarn. Let's see if I can find the colorway. Funny feeling. Very pretty. And she also gifted me this, I don't know, it doesn't have a colorway name. Anyway, it's Splendid Dyeworks. And it's absolutely wonderful and pretty blue. Ooh, it has a red sparkle in there. Red speck. I don't know if that's going to be there. When I knit it up, I hope it's showing. Anyway, beautiful 2 minis. And I ordered, because they had a sale. I would not have done it if they hadn't. Blade Garn, which is a Norwegian knitting magazine. And I wanted the first edition since they, you know, released it. I now have it. This one is, I think, only available in Norwegian. I do know that they have at least one copy of their magazine out in English now, so make sure that you check them out. I will link them both here and tag them on Instagram, so I tag all the makers I mentioned on Instagram so that you can find them there easily as well. And I also got from them a pin that says, Jeg vil heller strikke, which means I'd rather knit. Of course I needed that. So I indulged myself in those. Other goodies that has arrived. It had arrived before I recorded the last episode, but I hadn't been to the post office to get it. There is no doubt that Molly is one of my absolute favorite dyers. Everything she touches turns to gold, and I love her Dale base. These two, very fluorescent almost, greens, are Dale, non-superwash merino. The middle one is, and I'm probably going to include a video over as I speak about it, the middle one is Swamp House in Merino singles, which is 100% superwash merino. These will not be a shawl, and they will not be knit together. That's all I'm going to say about that, because I do have very awesome plans for these two greens, because my birthday is in March. And I have a very special project lined up for that. I always release a pattern on my birthday, I'm just going to say that. And then I won some yarn from the Bakery Bears podcast. I am a proud patron of the Bakery Bears. Day and Can. Kay and Dan, oh goodness, of the Bakery Bears podcast. They have a live event for patrons once a month, and they draw a yarn prize. When they said number 8 on the list, I went, that's not gonna be me, but it was. So I was watching them live on their secret Facebook group, which you only get invited to if you're a patron, and they drew my name. And I got this beautiful hand-dyed yarn from Kay. It has some very pretty specks in here. I haven't recorded this close-up yet, but I will so that you can see it here while I talk about it. So you can find her yarns on bakerybearscottage.etsy.com, and I will link that down below. She has updates, and she posts on Instagram when she has those updates. So you might want to check that out. Her yarns are absolutely beautiful. This is the base Devonshire DK, 8% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. I think I want to make this into a shawl with some other yarns, just because it is so gorgeously soft and pink and wonderful. It's 212 meters on a hank, and it's called Pink Mittens. Thank you so much. I absolutely love it. And there's more, but I need to clean up a little bit first. Okay, so I also got Amelia. I already mentioned her, totally name dropping her. My good friend Amelia from Arctic Yarns and Arctic Knitting Podcast has designed her own Sarbu mitten pins. Or as you would say anywhere else in the world, Selbu mittens. They are just so cool. I will record again a closer video so you can see them close up. She designed these together with a Norwegian company that has printed these. So they are made by Amelia, who is Norwegian, above the Arctic Circle. Go check out her latest episode. There's been snow in her hometown in June. Let's go over there and comfort her, shall we? Poor thing. I know I shouldn't be laughing, but... Anyway, I love the pin. I ordered another one for someone else. And another one for the 3K giveaway, which I will be talking about in the next episode. Because this channel has reached 3,000 subscribers. Absolutely wonderful. The next thing I have to talk about is an order and some extras from my friend Kim over at Kim Smith Happy on YouTube and Instagram, and Alternate Universe Yarn Shop, both physical and online shop. I went to her shop because I knew that I can grab very affordable fiber to spin with over there. I went over to her shop because I know that she has very affordable spinning fiber, and I grabbed this. It is 100% British Shetland wool, and I paid £3 for this 100 gram braid. So affordable, and it is so soft. Gotta love this. Oh, just gotta love the smell of sheep. And I wasn't going to grab this, but I did, because I haven't knit with West Yorkshire Spinners yarn before. This is their signature 4-ply. She has this in her shop in an apple green colorway. It's called Mojitos, and this is priced to £7.20. I think it is P. And it says it is ideal for socks. It is 400 meters, so soft, for 75% wool and 25% nylon. And since it says wool and nothing else, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this is not superwash. It can be machine washed on 30, but most wools can be machine washed on 30 because it's cold. Just be sure that you are very careful with your spin cycle, because that's the killer. I wash all my socks and hand knits in the machine. 75% wool, contains 35% blue-faced Leicester. What's the rest? Doesn't say. Anyway, I grabbed that. And Kim got a little carried away. But she included some extras. First of all, if you watched my Vlogmas series last year, you will have seen that I got these yarns from Kim. These are her Art Equals Happy yarn. It's 100% recycled, and as you can see, I'm strangely excited about knitting with this yarn. It has these strands, and it's not twisted, so it's just knitting with several strands at once. And for some reason that intrigues me. So I am very excited to try that. She sent these for my Vlogmas. And she says that they are 100% recycled yarn made from unwanted cones. Knitting machine cones. And she also says be careful winding this into a ball, as it is several strands held together. And she has, you know, taped a little sample on there. You can see. I hope you can see. Anyway, So that are those in hanks, and now you can see them in small cakes. Let's go on with the first two. This is called From Clay, sculpted from clay. It is for socks. And it is her art equals happy yarn again. And it doesn't say how much it is in length, but it is 50 grams per. And I absolutely love this. This is so soft and wonderful. I can't wait to knit socks with this. How exciting. This beauty, I cannot believe the colors in this. It's like this person I never met knows me so well. Kim, you're absolutely amazing. She said on her note that, let's see if I can find it without showing you. She says in her notes, sorry, I just got carried away reading that, that this is named after Wonder Woman. And I was like, really? And then I turned the skeins, and the colorway is called Nordic Stitches. Kim, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. I have colorway. I also have superpowers, apparently. Thank you so much. And this will become a shawl. So pretty. So exciting. Thank you so much, Kim, for all the extras and just being awesome. And yeah, those were the incomings. Okay, so at the end here, I have a couple of minutes of, you know, just a walking clip from one of the days previous this week that I was out just taking a walk in my neighborhood. I'm gonna include that at the end here, and just thank you so much for watching, and whoever you are and wherever you are, I hope that you are having a wonderful day. Be kind, be good, and hopefully I will see you back here for episode 3. If you liked the video, make sure that you hit the thumbs up button. It helps me spread the word to more people about the podcast. And if you watch this and knit, you know, post it on Instagram so I can see what you're knitting while you're stalking my channel. And I say that in a really friendly way. Yeah, and click subscribe, and thank you for joining. I'm rambling now, so I'm just gonna leave you to my walking clip and say goodbye. Nämen, är det där? Har du sett? Sikkert har vi visat på kamera här. Jo da. Hej för. Ja. Bilmärka på dörrkammen. Der står det bra, ikke sant? Å nei, bestem deg. I'm gonna do you a favor and link directly to the... Ooh, 75%. 70%. Are you serious? 70%